Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BRP TV for the site of Race 7 of the Southern Tier Elite Series 2025 to 26 season. We are at the Mecca of modified racing, Weedsport Speedway from virtual Weedsport, New York, live on BRP TV. I am Joe Donahue alongside my co-host, as always for this series, Jonathan Howe. We're representing the 24 thus far drivers who have joined the practice session from what I would consider to be one of the most important races on the schedule. Jonathan, we know the big blocks, this is like the home track, at least for what we have in iRacing for these cars. So I'm sure we've got a lot of home field advantage for some of these guys who are from New York and race around here in the real world. But it's definitely one of the most special places that we've got on our calendar this season.
Yeah, it certainly is, Joe, and one of the most unique in terms of its layout, right? It's not necessarily a true traditional oval by any kind of stretch of the imagination. Corners a little bit different on each end of the racetrack, almost kind of a dog leg to it at parts. It's a unique surface, and it is one that for sure more than a few drivers in our field are going to have some experience with running in the real world and plenty of experience in the iRacing world as well.
Absolutely. This is a staple racetrack of these sort of online league races, whether it's been the BRP TV, BRP iRacing series, whether it's been Southern Tier Elite series, or some of the other stuff that a lot of these drivers in this series will go run on other nights of the week. This is a racetrack that you pretty much always have on your calendar, and probably also why we have a full turnout of a field of 24 drivers tonight. Jonathan, that field of 24 drivers includes a list, and in that list it is I think all the heavy hitters are here tonight. I don't think we're missing anybody from the points standings coming into tonight. And as you can see the points standings on your screen here, we have started accounting for the drop week, which is where this series will take your worst performance night, whether that is you didn't show up or you just had a really bad night, and they drop that from the points table. And Jonathan, that gives us a pretty close battle for the championship lead up at the front.
Certainly does, with Cole Henschel leading it by just 4 points over Gary Edwards. Both drivers have been a model of consistency throughout the season thus far. Cole's got, I believe 2 wins. The driver that I'm surprised hasn't been able to make it a little bit closer, he's not out of it, but Isaac Salas sitting there back in 4th. He's the only driver who's reached 3 wins on the season, but winning is not everything. You got to be consistent throughout the season, and Isaac sits, rough math, 29 points back. So he's got some work to do. Cody Higbee right there lurking, 11 points back. I don't know. That's a little bit close for Higbee to be sitting there with everybody being too comfortable in front of him. We've seen some magic out of Cody in the past to win a championship or two on our broadcast. I would not be surprised if Cody gets up there and mixes it. But Cole Henschel, like I say, model of consistency, and it's starting early in the nights as it is for Gary Edwards as well. Those heat points really adding up and making a little bit of separation at the top for our top 2.
Yeah, it's not that big of a separation. I mean, we do have only tonight and then 3 more, after to get those points in. But the big thing is don't miss the races. But, you really need to capitalize on those early points early in the night, because the points difference between getting, say, 2nd and 3rd place, I mean, you're down to 2 points, if not 1 point in between positions. You definitely need to capitalize on getting those bonus points. Those are things that Gary Edwards has definitely done this season. Like Jonathan said, that has kept him in the picture. I look a little bit further down the order, too, and I see names like Hunter Lapp, Anthony Perego, Bo Kerbo. He's been very quietly consistent, getting enough points to keep himself in the top 10 here. And then you see guys like Dominic Roselli in 10th place, who we're used to seeing him further up in the point standings, but he's had a little bit of a rough spot lately, Jonathan, that his consistency at the end of the night hasn't been quite there, and he's dropped back as a result.
Yeah, you know what? Consistency is tricky to come by, because you can be consistent as a 6th through 10th place car, or 6th through 12th, or something like that. And I think the big thing, too, is when you find yourself in that bubble that we've seen over the last couple weeks, that 6th through 12th, you can be in kind of the danger zone. We were talking a little bit, I believe, off air, just as things were starting up tonight, and you mentioned back at, I believe it was Lernerville, most of the guys that were jumping the cushion were running inside the top 5, top 10, and causing most of those incidents. So there isn't really a safe place to be in this field when everybody is so close and so evenly matched and so on top of each other in these big blocks.
Totally agreed. Totally agreed with that. And that makes it exciting for us in the booth. Last week was a good show. There was a little bit of that stop-go action throughout the night with the yellows, but overall, Lernerville was extremely exciting, especially when we had that nice little long green flag run in the middle of the race. And we're looking for more of the same from Weedsport tonight. The battle at the port for the Southern Tier Elite Series. And as practice ends itself up here, Gary Edwards III will hold the honor of being the fastest driver in this early 15-minute practice session for these drivers. Bo Kerbo and Isaac Salas rounds out your top three, and we will move over as the clock strikes midnight to our qualifying session, so 2 laps apiece for these drivers to go around this racetrack and set their qualifying times to then set the heat race orders. 8 laps for the heat races tonight, and then we will have our main event at the end of it. So, Jonathan, they go over into qualifying, and I'm going to wait and see, and it looks like the first driver to come out onto the racetrack is the 44 of Anthony Perego.
Yeah, we'll see what Anthony's got. He's a driver that I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on. Not necessarily out of it when it comes to the points battle, but 69 is going to be a lot to make up in the next few events. But if anybody can do it, I would say it's this guy. We saw how much speed he had from the very beginning of this league. Hasn't necessarily been able to get back to victory lane, but has posted a second, posted a 4th place finish as well in his drives with us. So watch for this 44 car to be a contender here tonight. A guy is definitely going to have a lot of laps turned between the real car and probably iRacing in this particular racetrack.
He goes to 3rd quick thus far on his first lap. Second lap comes across the line. It is a little bit slower, so he will not take the top spot. Cole Henschel jumps to the top. Matthew Schultz had it for a split second there. And as we keep searching around, find a driver who's in the middle of their run, we find Brian Lawson, currently sitting 8th with the 57 car. He's going to see if he can get up a little bit further, and he will not. Looks like the first lap is the one that sticks, Jonathan, so far for all these drivers.
How about Brewer jumping up there to P3? Mike Brewer has not made a lot of noise necessarily in this series, but when he has run with us, he has proven that he can go out there and start towards the sharp end of the field and get a heat win. And certainly looks like Isaac Salas is not done making some noise in this one. He'll go to the top of the charts. Cole Henschel up there. Higby, some heavy hitters, but a couple of nice surprises, I would say, in Brewer and Schultz up inside the top 5 as we're still waiting on, I believe, Anthony Roselli needs to take a time. And Dylan Smith has done his. So I'm not sure if Anthony's having maybe some technical issues or what's going on with the 7 car, but I saw him not take a time in the opening practice, and he doesn't appear to be on the racetrack qualifying yet either.
It looks like he will give up the ability for himself to run a qualifying time, so he will go to 24th on the grid, and that will set the grid for the first of 3 heat races tonight. 8 drivers, 8 laps apiece, and the starting lineup. Fastest driver in qualifying will bring us from the pole in the first heat race of this night, Isaac Salas in the 5 car. Mike Brewer to his outside in the 39. Good to see him up at the front of the timing order. We'll see if he can hold on to that spot because he's got Anthony Perego on the inside of row number 2 right behind him in the 44, and he's got Bo Kerbo starting right behind him in the 5K. Bo's been very solid in getting some good points over the course of this series run so far. Matt DeRitter is back for the first time in 3 races. The 03 machine, originally out of New Jersey, will go from 5th. To his outside is going to be 6th place Jesse Hedges in car number 33. Black number 33 car we're used to seeing in this series. Has had a few standout nights so far. You got Jeff Sharp in the white number 28 going 7th, and then Jake Henry driving car number 171 will run shotgun from the field. Rounds out your 8 for the first heat race of the night. And Jonathan, we've got a nice little group at the front. Mike Brewer had some really good runs last year, and Isaac Salas, Anthony Perego, they've definitely shown their strutted their stuff so far this year. And you don't even want to leave out Matt DeRitter. He could pull something off here too.
Yeah, even Jeff Sharp starting way at the back. Not kind of an uncharacteristic qualifying effort from Jeff Sharp. We've seen him have speed earlier in the nights. I feel like Sharp might be one of those ones that might be able to make a dash here towards the front as we are ready to roll to green. Salas with the jump on the outside, the 39 trying to make something happen. Ooh, Perego may have cut the inside wall there. I don't know what exactly happened, but his car bobbled for a split second, and he went up the racetrack. That jammed up DeRitter. Now DeRitter's trying to make the move for 4th place. can't make it stick on the bottom.
Yep, that was Perego kissing the concrete in turn number 1, and he dropped back from there. He had a little bit of a run like he could have maybe got at Brewer, but not the case. He's going to have to relinquish that position. Matt DeRitter sits behind him in 4th place. You got Mike Brewer coming in 2nd. Isaac Salas with an easy jump to the lead early. Track's still definitely young, Jonathan. There's plenty of grip in it, so we're pretty much going to be looking at a single file run to the finish here unless something crazy happens, because there's a lot of grip down low, and with how flat this track is, I'm not expecting to see too much of that dive-in type racing that we're going to see later tonight when the track starts slicking off.
Yeah, exactly. And it would be interesting to see if anybody can maybe make something happen on another side of the racetrack. Will anybody test the waters up high, or will they try and just follow in the tire tracks of Salas? It looks like a couple of guys. I've seen DeRitter up there. I've seen Brewer kind of using maybe like an entry point of the middle line, the middle to low line. Doesn't appear like it's working too well for anybody to move forward. Jeff Sharp has been able to pick up a couple spots. I pointed him out. He started on the inside of the final row, and he is up 1 spot now and sitting there in the, 6th spot.
Yep, as they come past the line, 2 to go that time. Isaac Salas down the back straightaway, no contention from anyone behind him. And he's capitalizing on those bonus points he needs desperately to get himself into the championship hunt. 1 lap to go, presented by Precision Engine Service, and Isaac Salas will bring us back to what is not a straightaway, but the back stretch here, and into turns 3 and 4 one more time.
Down out of 4, and here goes Isaac Salas to hit the line and to win that one, going away from Brewer. Perego will finish in the 3rd spot. Good efforts from some of the heavy hitters in this one, and a good effort from Matt DeRitter. Give him a shout out. Worked his way up to P4.
Absolutely. Good run for DeRitter to get up there. That's good starting position for him in the main event, which is to come. And we will set up and get ready for heat race number 2 of 3. And your next 8 look like this. Starting on the inside, he's driving the car scored as the 3, but he's got a 4 on the side because he's still running that old throwback of his father's car, as Cole Henschel has 2 wins to the season so far. You've got Matthew Schultz on his outside, who is running the same throwback car that he ran at Knoxville again. He had a good run in qualifying there, so we're used to seeing him do pretty well in qualifying, but tonight he will go from the outside of the row for his heat race. Hunter Lapp has had a couple really good performances lately. He's into the top 10 in points. He will roll 3rd. 4th place for Brian Lawson in car number 57, sponsored by Ferris and Pine Plains Auto Body. You got Kenny Coe back again after a few weeks off in the 22E. Tonight he will be sporting black and blue, and to his outside will be the 1X of Anthony Vitale. Cody Harris in car 20. We haven't seen him on the track in quite a while. I'm over a month since the 20 car was out with us. He will go from 7th and 8th place on the grid. Bud Molyneux in car 883 will roll from the rear. And as they come past the line, it will get one more time around before we see the green flag come out for the second heat race. And the Sunrise Landscaping 4 car will be in control of that, Jonathan, as we've gotten used to him being, Cole Henschel being up at the front, that is.
Yeah, and you know what? Coming into tonight as the points leader by a narrow margin, you want to maximize your efforts here. You're going to get that chance to start up front. You got to cash in. Meanwhile, if you're Matt Schultz, you're just looking for something magical to happen here. You know, you've had opportunities where you've put yourself in situations to have good runs as the green flag comes out. Let's see if Schultz can keep himself up towards the front, get some good track position come feature time, and hang on for a good performance that he is long overdue for.
And Schultz on the outside right there. You see that's Hunter Lapp beside him, and we come past the first time, complete that lap. Schultz holding his own, but Hunter Lapp definitely using the bottom side to his advantage to get aside and now in front of, and that's going to probably be a little bit of a slider to complete the pass on Matthew Schultz. Matthew, it looks almost tight there, Jonathan. He really did not pitch at all through turn 4. I wonder if these guys are experiencing any sorts of issues right now with how tacky this racetrack is, or maybe it's that little, maybe it's even that little bump there on the inside of turn number 4 we keep seeing them hit.
Yeah, there's something definitely that's keeping him up. I'm almost even just wondering if it's just the fact that you have that car on the outside if you're in Schultz's position and you can't quite open it up and let the wheel drift the way you want it to, so you can't really get the power down and get the drive off that you want. This is a good little preview of what we might see later on. Hunter Lapp working that outside middle groove and making it work for now, as continuing to now clear the 24. Goes Hunter Lapp in that 60 car. Brian Lawson working there in fourth. Let's see if he can start to stick his nose in this battle as Schultz not done, not going away, having another look to the inside. And now Lawson's under fire here. Good battle as I believe that's Kenny Coe in the 22 trying to make the move to the inside.
That is Kenny Coe down there. We're used to seeing him with red on that car, so new looks for Kenny as he will try to work the bottom side into fourth place, and he gets past the 57 car. White flag is out one more time around, presented by Precision Engine Service. And back up at the front, we haven't checked in on him in a little while, but Cole Henschel has this under control as he comes through turns 3 and 4. Hunter Lapp going to try to send it in deep one last time. It's not going to work. Cole Henschel will take heat race number 2 over Hunter Lapp. Matthew Schultz, Kenny Coe, and Brian Lawson will get the final position to get those bonus points, which will be 5th place. And we got one more heat race coming to you. And Jonathan, why don't I hand it over for you to give us our starting grid for this one?
The 97, the iceless ride for Cody Higbee. He will start from pole with Gary Edwards on the outside. That is a heavy hitter. Front row, if I do say so myself. Starting third tonight, the 15 ride, that is Dylan Smith. He'll have Dominic Roselli in the 80 car to his outside in row number 2. Row number 3, on the inside, it's Brendan Finley in the 7 ride and Mikey Horton in the 12. Saw Mikey at the center of a couple of issues, not necessarily of his own doing last week. We'll see if he can keep it clean tonight. And Richard Ritchie rounds out your 7-car field in this, the third and final heat for the night. Missing from this one as well would have been Anthony Roselli in the 7 car. So not sure what the issues are for Anth, but tough break for Roselli to not be a part of the show.
Yeah, Anthony Roselli, 5th in points coming in. Missing that's going to be important for his championship looks, but he also does have to kind of double up as the admin for this series. He runs the show for the Southern Tier Elite Series, so we got to give him the credit that he's pulling double duty when he's out here with us. We got the 1 to go. Cody Higbee's going to lead us back to the green flag. While I have a quick second, we want to thank Cacti Fabrication, HigFab Chassis, Precision Engine Service, Savage House Performance, and Vertex Graphics for supporting the Southern Tier Elite Series, as well as Murder Graphics, MDR Designs, the Inkvine Company, Creative Turnings, 47 Technology, and the Southern Ontario Dirt Show for being part of the BRPT's V side of getting this on your screen right here. Thank you to everybody who keeps coming out and tuning in, watching your favorite drivers. Drop a chat on who you are rooting for tonight in the main event at the end of this heat race, which is now setting sail with Cody Higbee and Gary Edwards running into turn number 1. And Gary Edwards held up a little bit there on the outside, Jonathan, but as soon as they got through turn number 2, the inside line heed way, and Cody Higbee takes the lead.
Ooh, Higbee slides up in front of Edwards. I think Edwards might have had a run there had Higbee held the bottom. Now Edwards trying to dive back alongside. Can't get to the inside of the 97. He'll tuck back in line into 3 and 4. Having a look to the bottom side goes Edwards once again. Good battle behind him for third. Oh, Edwards bobbles there.
Uh-oh.
Man, oh, contact. Big hit to, I believe that was Dominic Roselli. Wow, that got really tight, and I think that was all because of that bump that we were talking about. You're talking about how cars are getting tight, but maybe it is a bump down there in 3 and 4 that jammed up Edwards, and that really wrecks things for Dominic Roselli.
Yep, and Dominic Roselli drops to the rear right away. Cody Higbee still leading. That contact there, I think it's absolutely right. This is a very narrow dirt track, especially the way it runs, and unfortunately D. Rose is going to be the one to bite, and he will drop to the rear in this heat race. Cody Higbee still leads over Gary Edwards. Dylan Smith with a nice little run to start things off tonight. I think the track's developing a little bit here, Jonathan. I think we're starting to see things change because Dylan Smith is about to run around the outside of Gary Edwards and take over second place down the back. Well, almost. You just keep watching him. He'll do it.
Yeah, Gary Edwards seems to be struggling right now, especially on the bottom side of the racetrack through 3 and 4. He'll give up that spot, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. If Edwards is maybe thrown off by Weedsport at all, as there's just 2 laps to go in this one. Cody Higbee in control of it. He's going to start up towards the front half of the field, right in the top 3, if he can hang on, and that's going to be dangerous for anybody who's trying to win this championship. You do not want to give Cody Higbee that much track position and any chance to sniff the front this quickly, this early.
Absolutely not. As he comes off turn 4, Cody Higbee will win the final heat race of the night. And he will win it over Dylan Smith, Gary Edwards, Mikey Horton, and Brendan Finley gets that final position of bonus points. So the Hig Fab Chassis Heat Race number 3 winner will be the Hig B, Cody Higbee. And we jump over next into the consolation race, which looks like we've got a lineup of, should be 9, but we're missing Anthony Roselli. So we are back to, after not having it last week, we will be setting the starting grid in this 10-lap consolation rather than sending anybody home, Jonathan. But that's nice because these 8 drivers on your screen here are guaranteed to start in the main event that is to come after this. So, yeah, we got Jeff Sharp on the pole, Cody Harris on his outside, Richard Ritchie and Jesse Hedges alongside each other in row number 2, Anthony Vitale and Dominic Roselli, 2 guys in brother combinations for this series, will be starting beside each other. Then you got Jake Henry and Bud Molyneux in the final row. And Jonathan, this might be a good opportunity for these drivers to get a little bit better attuned to what the racetrack's looking at right now, be able to work with the surface that we're going to see when we move into the A-main tonight.
It's kind of going to be a little bit of a teaser, I think, for us, too, because you can see the sun setting. I feel like by the time we get to the feature event, I think the game will have set the sun even more, and I think that's going to provide maybe a different look to this. So I don't know how you feel about this, Joe, but it kind of feels like to me it's going to be where we leave off at the end of this consolation race. It's going to be basically the first quarter of the feature, but I think even by the time the feature starts and to the end of that, I think it's going to be like completely, I don't want to be punny here, but night and day difference with this racing surface.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely fair. We also have that warm-up session in the middle, though, that we have to kind of consider when we look at how this racetrack is going to evolve as the green flag comes out. Cody Harris got a big jump off the start there, but he also got a little bit of a tag from Jeff Sharp as they moved through the first corner. And Jesse Hedges, man, that 33 car. Oh, and we got one around in the back. Bud Molyneux goes for a spin in turn number 4. And he will have to try to turn that car around and get it back out on the racetrack. That's a tough deal for the 883 car to start this off.
Yeah, a tough break for Molyneux there. Cody Harris, I don't want to say he jumped it, but that looked awfully close at the front there for a second. Like maybe he got the jump on Jeff Sharp, but either way, Sharp is not driving. That car doesn't look like it's handling the way he wants it to right now. He's kind of struggling and dropping back here under fire. Dominic Roselli trying to get himself up into things. He's definitely one who's happy that we've got a consolation race, I would say, after getting taken out running P3 alongside Gary Edwards, and Edwards' little slide up the racetrack there. And speaking of slide-ups there, that got awfully close as Dominic Roselli drifted up and almost got into the side of Jesse Hedges.
He did almost get up in there as the top 4 has separated. 5th place back here, Anthony Vitale, not really touching these guys at the moment. Jake Henry and Richard Ritchie in the same boat. And up at the front, Cody Harris has definitely not got much breathing room from Hedges as they go back into turn number 1 again halfway through this feature, or this consolation, now. And Hedges looking for a run down the inside. That 33 car's been fast all night, or at least in his heat race. And he looks to the inside now. He can't get the momentum off of turn number 4. Cody Harris will hold on to the race lead.
Harris still controlling this one. Hedges having a look. He's also having to play defense as he's got a mirror full of Dominic Roselli. Hedges, whoa, can't quite make it stick on the bottom. Whoa. And contact again. Dominic Roselli's got to be saying, no, not again out of corner 4, but he'll hang on. He'll keep going. Minimal damage there. And racing continues on. And Harris looks like he's going to be probably going to get this win here. I don't think either driver can make the pass if they're going to continue to fight for second like this.
Absolutely agreed, Jonathan. Both Roselli and Hedges are going to struggle to do anything with Cody Harris if they keep running like they are. They've got 2 well-matched cars as they come past the white flag one more time around for Harris up at the front. Hedges is getting as close as he possibly can without shoving the 20 car out of his way. Dominic Roselli looking low. Big send from the 88. Slams into the side of Cody Harris and muscles his way through, and Cody Harris doesn't let him have it. Cody Harris will win the consolation.
What a great show that was. That was awesome. And I was all kind of in good, clean fun. I'm sure if the feature ended like that, maybe some more hurt feelings. But for a consolation race, why not?
I don't know. I liked that from Cody Harris. I mean, Roselli came in. Roselli did a fairly good job of keeping that clean, but still he put the elbow out, and Cody Harris he put his back out too. That was awesome. Honestly, if we see something like that for the finish of the race, we're going to have a great time interviewing the top 3 at the end. That's going to be a fun time. So we come into the warm-up session. We got about 4.5 minutes here for the drivers to maybe go out on the racetrack, work it in a little bit, get used to this facility in the shape it's in right now. The lights are on, so I'm sure the sun will continue to set into our feature. And while we have a moment, Jonathan, why don't we go ahead and shout out to some of our partners and sponsors again for tonight's show. You want me to take the lead on this, or do you want to take a shot at it?
You go for it, Joe. You've always got such a sweet voice and sweet delivery for all our great partners, and we really couldn't put the show on without them. So,
absolutely. Well, I do have the face for radio, but we want to thank Cacti Fabrication for being a part of this series, being the presenting sponsor of the inaugural Southern Tier Elite Series. They are presenting the Cacti Cup to the champion of this series at the end. So thank you to Cacti Fabrication for always being a part of our shows. BRP TV, that's us, your go-to for all live coverage of the Southern Tier Elite Series is here on the BRP TV YouTube channel. You can subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications when these races go live. HigFab Chassis, the modified gurus up at HigFab Chassis, are presenting the heat race wins for every event this season. Based out of upstate New York, you can check them out on Facebook if you're looking to get into or step up your game in dirt modified racing. Precision Engine Service in Middletown, New York specializes in providing high-quality rebuilt engines and engine components. Precision Engine Service ensures quality and reliability in their stock replacements for your high-performance engine. Savage House Performance and iRacing teams, Savage House Performance and Savage House Racing, embodies the working man spirit of the Southern Tier Elite Series and is excited to be a presenting sponsor of this series. You can follow Savage House Racing on Facebook to keep up with their drivers across all of their different iRacing events. Vertex Graphics, you can see them on the sides of a multitude of these cars in this series. We want to thank Vertex Graphics for being a part of this series week in, week out, and providing the graphics that you'll see on some real-world cars even across all of dirt racing. Murder Graphics, the custom graphics for all of your racing-related needs come from Murder Graphics. You can see the stuff on your screen right now comes out of them as well. The tickers and whatnot that we use here at BRP TV are in-house from them. So if you want to get into Murder Graphics and get some graphic designs for your own cars or your own broadcasts, you can reach out at mrdrgraphics.com to see how they can help you find your own killer style. And we've got MDR Designs. You can contact Matt DeRitter, who drives the 03 car in this series, for all of your branding needs. With 10 years of experience, MDR Designs can help you discover, design, and succeed with branding that lasts. Contact MDR Designs at mdrdesignsllc.com. The Inkvine Company. If you're looking to grow your business with a custom website or capture a local audience, you can capture the Inkvine Company. You can contact the Inkvine Company to explore the right options for your business. They are accepting new clients, and you can reach out to them at inkvineco.com. Creative Turnings, based out of Connecticut, they offer wood and acrylic household items such as pens, bowls, candlesticks, charcuterie boards, and more. Custom homemade products, great for gift giving and home decor. We've passed the Christmas season, but we're 1 month and 3 days out from another holiday where we conventionally buy gifts for each other. So if you want to get ahead of the curve on your Valentine's Day, you may want to reach out to them on Facebook and learn more. And the same goes for 47 Technology. Developed at home, 47 Technology is the hookup for 3D printed ornaments, trophies, diorama accessories, and more. You can check out their Etsy website to see what's in stock and trick yourself out for the whole year, but even for the Valentine's Day season. And the Southern Ontario Dirt Show, the podcast hosted by our own Jonathan Howe, available on all streaming platforms. Listeners will be able to expect interviews with some of the biggest names in dirt modified, sprint car, and other local stock car series from the Southern Ontario dirt racing scene. The show will be launching in a new format in not too long, so you're going to want to stay tuned for more details on that, but you can find them on Spotify, Apple Music, etc. to get your fix of Southern Ontario's dirt racing action. And we want to thank everybody who comes in on a regular basis to these YouTube videos to be part of these live streams. My dad's usually one of them. I know the Mama Roselli, Liz Roselli, is usually here, and we get a nice crowd for a lot of the guys who come out. So we appreciate all of you who come to support these drivers. And with all of that being said, we get to the end of the warm-up session, and we will turn in for the main event. The starting grid will come to you just in a second as Barney waves the checkered flag, and the sun goes down, the lights have turned on, and it's reset and ready to go. So the feature race lines up. Jonathan, starting grid coming to you for the 50-lap feature event.
And just looking at some of those track photos, it looks like a Northeast dirt racetrack right now, surface-wise. Matt Schultz going to be on the pole after the invert. Anthony Perego will start second. Dylan Smith will start third. Hunter Lapp fourth. Mike Brewer in the 39 is going to line up fifth. Cody Higbee ends up back in sixth after the invert. Cole Henschel will line up seventh, and Isaac Salas eighth. Gary Edwards ninth. Matt DeRitter rounds out your top 10 starters in a bit of a shuffle with some heavy hitters who are going to have to work their way forward in this one. 11th, going to be Kenny Coe in the 22, starting 12th on the outside. Mikey Horton in the 12. Bo Kerbro has had some speed tonight. We'll see what he can bring to the feature in that 05 ride. Brian Lawson in the 57 will start 14th. Starting 15th, it's Brendan Finley starting 16th. Cody Harris in the 20. We just saw an impressive performance from him in the Consi. Dominic Griselli will start 17th after moving his way forward a few spots in that consolation ride. Jesse Hedges starts 18th. Jeff Sharp is 19th in that 28, and Anthony Vitale will round out the top 20 starters in this one. Rounding out the field altogether, Jake Henry, 21st. Richard Ritchie in the 406, 22nd, and Bud Molyneux rounding out your field of 23 cars set to go here from Weedsport, the home of Big Block Modified Racing. Can't wait for this one, Joe. I'm pretty fired up.
Yeah, this is going to be a good race. The track does look good for modified action, as we are used to seeing with these guys, but Weedsport being in tow for Big Blocks, definitely the highlight. So this is one of the more anticipated racetracks that we go to with modifieds here in iRacing, and Matthew Schultz has the immense honor and immense nerve of having to set us free out of turn number 4. But we come out of that corner with Anthony Perego to his outside. We are underway. The green flag is waved, and into turn number 1, they will thunder us, and the race has started. We'll have to see and make sure that there's nothing going wrong with the middle and rear end of the field.
Good racing through the middle of the pack so far. Looks like everybody's going to get through that tricky turn 3 and 4 clean and green. Everybody chasing Matt Schultz. Anthony Perego's got lots of experience here at Weedsport. He's trying to track down that 24 ride, but he's got a whole door full of that 15 of Dylan Smith, who's looking to have the good run that he is long overdue for.
Yeah, Dylan Smith, we have not seen that 15S car up at the front of the field in a long time. And last year when we ran the Murder Graphics series, he really was strong. He really got into tow of things at the end of the season, and we kind of expected him to carry that momentum a little bit more, admittedly, than he has so far. But he pulled that momentum into the side of the 44 car there, and he is not giving up. Dylan Smith does have a nose on Perego, but Perego might be finding a little bit extra grip up top right now, Jonathan.
Yeah, it looks like right now the top side is working. Almost looks like you want to have a slider line. We just saw what Matt Schultz did there. Looks like Dylan Smith's going to dive it back in. He just can't keep it locked on the bottom. Does a good enough job that time to get through the corner and clear Perego. Perego's going to go back to the bottom now. I'm not sure if there's a dominant lane yet, Joe. It kind of looks like it's all kind of corner to corner, run to run. Maybe a bit of contact there for second.
I think there was contact there. Perego kind of flipped it over, went to the inside line on Dylan Smith. Smith's going to jump in behind him. You got Cole Henschel in 4th place right there. I see Salas fighting for 5th with Hunter Lapp, and Dylan Smith gets a little wonky out of turn number 2. I don't know. Matthew Schultz has run up top the whole time, and now it's starting to slowly come back to Perego. I feel bad to say this, but I think Matthew Schultz is kind of stuck because he's going to keep doing what he's doing until he gets passed. That's we got a yellow. Never mind. We got a yellow, and it's Isaac Salas around in turns 1 and 2.
That is a big one. He came into the night 4th in points, 29 points back of Cole Henschel, and he was right there running and racing with Cole. And we'll see what happens here.
All right.
There he is right behind Henschel.
So this is going to be coming out of 4, so we're going to have to give this a second to catch up, but maybe we'll see something transpire coming up to that point.
Like Hunter Lap on the outside, Brewer lingering there. Salas is going to dive in, and I think everybody's going to jump on the binders. This is a chain reaction one. Yep. Oh, Henschel got a piece of it, and he went around. Although he almost gets spun back the right way.
He
Kenny
did.
Coe gets a little piece of it. DeRitter. Oh, Matt DeRitter and Jeff Sharp.
Kerbo.
Vitali, Kerbo.
Everybody just piled in there.
It was just a chain reaction. It looks like Salas didn't quite get on the binders enough to let Cole Henschel get on the binders, who is on the binders because he was trying not to run over somebody. Just a chain reaction deal, easy to happen. And we've seen multiple incidents like that throughout the season at multiple facilities. But Isaac Salas gets the worst of a tough break for one of the front runners, but he's still got a long way, 42 laps, to make something happen to get his way back up there. And I feel like that 5 car is very much capable of doing something like that.
Absolutely, I think so, Jonathan, but we do have to account for how narrow this racetrack is and how many cars there are. Now, if we get to the end of this race and we start having things kind of mix up more, maybe then, yeah, I would see that 5 car coming up pretty quick, but maybe right off the bat, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We're going to do a double file restart here, so that's going to be interesting to see what happens. Matthew Schultz, your race leader, has chosen the inside line for the restart. Dylan Smith right behind him, and the green flag comes back out. Nice jump from the 24, and also a really nice jump from the 15.
Hunter Lap did not get a good jump, and that jammed up the inside line at a 4. That's going to really shake up the field, I believe. Henschel gets back by, and he'll start working his way towards the top 3, and it is a log jam from behind there. Isaac Salas has not been able to really advance forward, but I don't think he's trying all that hard yet. And why would you, man, with everything so jammed up, so tight right now in the back of the field? It's kind of just you got to play the waiting game a little bit.
Absolutely. Got a nice battle between the final podium position here, Cole Henschel and Anthony Perego. Those are two very, very strong drivers in this series, and they are side by side. Dylan Smith right in front of him. Mike Brewer, you can see Brewer in the 39 car back there really diving up to the top side, pushing it as far as he can go, trying to get around Hunter Lap and Gary Edwards, and Brewer really leaning on it heavy. And then behind them, you've got Cody Higbee and Gary Edwards. Higbee all over the wall back there, and in front of that group, so besides Brewer, you go back up a little bit, everybody's on the bottom.
Yeah, everybody migrating to the bottom side of the racetrack. Dylan Smith, he notably got back by Anthony Perego. We saw those two clash, and Smith got the worst of it. Not heavy contact or nothing intentional, as I believe we got another yellow flag on the racetrack.
We got Cody and Jeff.
Cody Harris and Jeff Sharp. Looks like a lot of damage on the Jeff Sharp vehicle. I saw some sparks being thrown from that, and I think Harris has got a little bit of a suspension issue, as well as it looks like that car is having a hard time staying straight. So we'll see how this plays out here.
So we've got Harris, and he is behind Finley and Horton. And then I think we're going to probably come into this. Yep. Oh, Brewer and Lawson and Roselli. Holy moly. That is a whole slew of nonsense going on in the corner before Sharp even got to it, before Harris even got to it.
Yeah, there was a big stack up in front of the drivers that we thought got the worst of it, and probably did get the worst of it, but
we're going to go back and see if we can get this
sure.
one more time. Yeah, let's go back and see if we can get this one more time. Here's Lawson. I would like Brewer. Brewer looks like he got up on there by himself, though.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It does look like Cody Higbee was close by Brewer. I don't know if maybe Brewer was trying to get to his outside, and Higbee thought maybe he could run the outside, didn't realize Brewer was up there, or if Brewer just drove in too deep trying to get to Cody's outside. But either way, another one of those chain reaction deals, right, where a place like Weedsport, there's not a lot of room to hide. You talked about how narrow this facility is and this racetrack is, and that's exactly why it's so hard to get your way back through the front after you've been involved in incidents. And, I mean, a couple more spots picked up for a guy like Isaac Salas, who had his issues early. But, yeah, I don't know. It definitely scares me to be towards the back half of the field.
Yeah, especially when the track starts getting worked in, Jonathan. I don't like the idea of, it's that thing that we've seen. I mean, I have called this out for years, where the track slicks off and you've got guys going in line together, They go into the corner, and if the guy in front checks up just even a little bit more than the follower, you've got problems. You're going to have somebody spinning out, and that happens a lot. And you don't want to be in the middle of the pack because you're just going to end up getting brought into that. Like you just have a higher percentage possibility of having an issue in that sort of situation. So those guys in the middle and rear of the field definitely are not in an ideal spot. As the green flag comes back out, though, we get on to lap number 14, and Cole Henschel just blew out of the water. That restart, moves up into second, and he's fighting for the race lead, Jonathan, as Parego's trying to get back into the picture as well.
Yeah, Parego's got nowhere to go, though. He's back with his buddy Dylan Smith. I talked about their kind of budding rivalry in this race, but Cole Henschel just pulled some wizardry to get to the inside, and he is trying to challenge Schultz there for the lead. And we got issues. Salas is stopped on the racetrack. Harris around. Caution will wave once again. And I said you didn't want to be towards the back of the field, and an early incident has led to a second for one of our championship frontrunners.
Absolutely, and we'll go backwards and check out what happened to Isaac Salas here. One more. We'll probably have to go one more off that. And here's what we're going to see here. So Salas comes into the corner. He tries to thread in between Jake Henry and Jesse Hedges and puts the 171 around. And then in comes Molyneux. DeRitter's in there. Brewer's getting slightly past it. And then I think Harris is going to actually get tipped by Lawson down there. Lawson gave him a little bit of love for trying to avoid all that nonsense going on above them. So doesn't look like any damage for Harris, but can't really say the same about Isaac Salas.
Yeah, another tough break for the 5 car. And just cautions breeding cautions right now. And if you're Matt Schultz, I mean, you've got one heck of a task here on the restart. Cole Henschel, the point leader coming into tonight, now will line up on the outside unless we go single file. I think we're still going double file on this restart.
Yeah, we got a lap in. I believe so. We should be seeing double file here, and that was kind of a shame because we're just slowly ticking off less and less laps in between. We had a nice solid start. We got about 5 laps in again, and then had one right off the rip here. And I don't blame these guys. I mean, this racetrack is going to be difficult to run. This is going to be a challenge for these guys to time it, feel it, and judge it right amongst all of each other when the track's slicked off like this. But nonetheless, pace truck lights are actually out, I believe, and they are, so we will do a single file restart. Matthew Schultz has complete control as we get back to green flag racing.
Schultz gets a great jump on the field. That's exactly what he needed, although here comes Cole Henschel back with a run through 1 and 2, trying to close up the gap. Out front, it is Schultz. Then it's Henschel. Dylan Smith still hanging on to that 3rd spot over Anthony Parego, who is now under fire from Gary Edwards, who wants to mix it up in this one as well. And up on the high side, I think that's Hunter Lapp trying to make something happen.
Hunter Lapp, 6th place. Yes, he is up there. Cody Higbee, Gary Edwards, 3rd right there with him. As Lapp's really your only guy pushing it to the high side in the top 5. Finley's trying to make a run up from the rear as well in the J7 car. Oh, Kenny Coe, a little bit of a shove to the back of Cody Higbee there on your screen. Higbee controls the car, and he will stick with it. Matthew Schultz still leading the way. Higbee, Coe, this is a battle for 7th place, 6th place even if you count Hunter Lapp. And up at the front, Matthew Schultz has plenty of worry to himself as Cole Henschel follows him in the 4SL. We go on board with the car in 2nd place.
Henschel trying to make something happen. Schultz up on the high side, middle groove, we'll call it. Not quite pushing the outer banks of this racetrack, but definitely not leaving a lot of room for Cole Henschel to make something happen. And you can see, Henschel just doesn't quite have the drive off that Schultz does. He can close in on entry, but he seems to give it all up on this point on. Better time through 3 and 4 that time. He'll dive back to the inside, try to make something happen in the middle to low grooves, and it just out of 2 is jamming him up. Just no drive off down the back straightaway, and that's really costing Henschel any attempt at making a pass on Schultz.
Yeah, you can see that car bouncing out of turn number 4. Also, just seeing how well Matthew Schultz can run in and out. He is diamonding those corners so well right now. Matthew Schultz deservedly has the race lead, and Henschel just, when he gets off the corner like that, the car's bouncing off the ground, he doesn't have the ability to put the power down like Schultz can, and he's got to watch that 24-car drive away from him. Although, at the same time, they are both driving away from third place Dylan Smith, who's not in too it's not a close battle, but Perego is not quite gone yet for the 15S.
No, not quite. And I think it's one of those things too, Joe, where like you have to shout out Matt Schultz and what he's doing. And I don't know if maybe diamonding the corner, maybe that allows you to miss some of those bumps, and by missing those bumps ever so slightly, you're able to get that power down and do exactly what Schultz is doing and maintain the top spot, maintain that advantage. Obviously, Henschel's got speed. Obviously, Schultz, they both have speed because they are driving away right now. But it just seems like Schultz is getting through that bump and putting the power down, getting drive off, getting everything just a little bit more right than Henschel is doing so right now.
Yeah, and as you say, that's kind of stratifying the top 5 of this race right now. Schultz is kind of driving confidently in front of Henschel. They're driving away from Dylan Smith. Smith has a little bit of a gap to Perego, and then Gary Edwards, the third, rounding out your top 5. He's the one that's kind of the gatekeeper to the rest of the field, with Higbee and Kenny Coe right in line behind him. But we've definitely settled down a little bit to get through the middle part of this race as the track has aged in, and we are trying to get towards that lap 50 magic. But to do so, I think a lot of the guys in the field have just kind of set into a rhythm of staying down on the inside where the track's looking like it's more mo beta, as they say.
And you know what's funny is, besides Henschel running up in the second spot, this race right now is kind of shuffling the deck in terms of favorites. You know, Gary Edwards still having a pretty decent run in 5th, but he's going to lose a couple points, and he is in danger of losing a position to a guy like Cody Higbee. Now, they're both going to maybe lose a chunk of points here, depending on how Henschel ends up closing out this race in the final 20 laps, and whether these guys can advance forward and maybe steal a podium spot late. But right now, I'm looking at the point standings, and I'm looking at the running order, and guys like Dylan Smith and Matt Schultz, they're playing spoiler a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys who aren't quite into the championship hunt as much, they're taking the big points. But right now, that is in the favor of Cole Henschel, who for the sake of Gary Edwards needs to get moving if he wants to be a part of that. You look at about a little under 20 laps to go in this event, and there's plenty of challenge from Cody Higbee there for Edwards. He's got to find a second gear here if he wants to hold on to that championship hopes he's got, because I just don't think Cole is not inconsistent enough for Gary Edwards to let this kind of thing happen and get away with. I mean, I don't know about you, Jonathan, but that's kind of how I see Cole Henschel as a driver.
No, you're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to beat him. And again, this invert, it really does kind of shuffle the deck and force these drivers who are fast early in the night have to get up there and pass. And we saw Cole Henschel be able to capitalize, get towards the front of the field, and that's allowed him to kind of start thinking about checking out and gaining a few more points on the championship. The guy I'm watching, how about Kenny Coe in the 22? He's having a great run tonight up there in 7th spot, kind of mixing it up, and you can see he's taking the fight to Edwards as Gary Edwards has lost a spot to Cody Higbee and now is in danger of losing another one, as that 22 of Coe has really seemed to prove that he should be one of these front runners, at least here at Weedsport tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Kenny Coe's been very solid in the top 7 area the whole night long. And I mean, you got to give him some credit to dust it off a little bit and get back into the swing of things with his carb. We haven't seen him in a little while, but he's definitely doing a great job tonight. I checked in quick. We got Anthony Vitale, Brendan Finley, and Bo Curbo making a nice battle out of 8th, 9th, and 10th here. It's kind of the group's fallen off a little bit. You've still got Finley aside of Curbo. That's for 9th, as Curbo's going to get a little gift there. Finley hit the wall on the top side of the racetrack. Coming into 10 laps to go, you can see the J7's driver just starting to get a little bit pushy with this car, and him and DeRitter make big contact down the front straightaway as the 03 car goes by.
Yeah, tough break for Finley there. That's going to jam him up and drop him out of that battle. DeRitter's going to try to get back up through the top 10. He's having a pretty decent night, running in the 10th spot now. Bo Curbo, again, just top 10ing himself towards a great points finish, as it has been the story all season long. He rides 9th in this race right now. He's 9th in points and set to probably pick up a few spots, well, at least pick up a few points on some guys in front of him, like Isaac Salas, Anthony Roselli, Dean Reynolds as well.
Yeah, those guys who are not here tonight. I'm surprised that Dean Reynolds is not here. As the yellow flag comes out, his office is at this racetrack in real life, and I think this is Jake Henry who's going to cause this, but I'm not 100% sure. We're going to pull the replay out on the 171 car, and we're going to see what we get. Let me give me a second here and do a check in the back here. And yes, Jake Henry goes to the pits, so we will pull the replay back and see what's going on with this car and what happened here. We're back a little bit too far.
Seems like he's running on his own. It doesn't look like anybody's around him necessarily.
I found it.
Oh, there, yeah.
Wow.
Mikey Horton going Tom Mintz style there out of
Absolutely.
4.
Love it. Good reference. Good reference. So Jake actually was not involved at all. Mikey Horton, as we saw, he just went into turn 4 way too deep, Jonathan, and caught that caught the inside wall. I don't know how often that happens in real life, but I've always wondered, and we saw it tonight. We saw a car go airborne off of the concrete.
Yeah, definitely. In real life, that would be quite scary to see if that was a regular occurrence. But Mikey Horton, yeah, that tough break for him. The guy was having a pretty good run. I think he might have got a piece of one of those earlier incidents in the evening. And that sets us up for a 10-lap shootout here, Joe. So kind of all the storylines that we've been talking about, they kind of can all go right out the window, because I think we are going to go single file for the restart. Schultz is on it. He nails it out of 4, and Henschel gets left in the dust once again. Just can't quite anticipate it perfectly. Now, Anthony Perego did get around Dylan Smith, it looks like, before that caution. So now he's up to P3, but Smith is not done contesting the spot. A little bit of contact there. I don't think Smith is overly happy with Perego. I think the contact they made earlier in the night, I don't think Smith has forgotten about it. And now he's under fire as here comes Cody Higbee. He's trying to mix his way up and see if he can take advantage of these final few laps to get himself a podium.
He's trying. Gary Edwards is going to try to do the same. Edwards needs to make time up quick if he wants to get those precious championship points. Higbee goes in on Edwards, and Smith is going to go in on Perego. They go side by side. Perego gets the momentum off the top side. 6 laps to go for your leader as they come back out of turn number 4. Almost the guy with the most amount of breathing room is the leader, Matthew Schultz, compared to this slew between 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Higbee goes up the racetrack, brings Gary Edwards with him, and that will bring the 22 car of Kenny Coe into the picture as well. 3 wide into turn number 3.
Yeah, trying to keep one eye on the race lead battle, which Henschel is there and closing, but can't quite make anything happen. Meanwhile, this battle from 5th on back is just absolutely insane right now. Make it 4th on back as Dylan Smith falling back into the clutches of the 97 of Cody Higbee. Out front, Henschel's having a look, though. This battle's heating up for the lead.
Yeah, Matthew Schultz running a really nice defensive line in the middle, but I'm almost starting to wonder if that's going to go away from him. It looks like that middle line he's running is absolutely used up. He goes a little bit further up the racetrack that time. 3 laps to go at the line. I'm getting nervous about that 24 car and where he's running, Jonathan. I just think Cole is holding it down better on the inside, even though he doesn't get the run off yellow
big
flag.
bobble. Big bobble. And
Yellow
that was
flag.
the yellow flag, actually, that would cause that bobble. But, man.
Oh,
no, Bo Kerbo.
Oh, no. We'll pull the replay out and see what happened to the Scordes 05 car. That's tough. He really... Oh, man, this is a good one.
The Ritter's in it.
Yeah, here we go. So we'll bring this back to you. John, we got Matthew DeRitter and Bo Kerbo beside each other, Jonathan. We'll see what happens here. Tough break.
Yeah, Joe, these guys were having some good runs inside the top 10, and DeRitter just sails it in, and... Yep, that's just two cars trying to not give an inch towards the end of the race. Like, there's not much anything you could... That's just racing.
Yeah.
One of them racing deals.
If you want to, the back bumper of that 5K car, I'm not going to say it out loud, but if you can read, you can see what it says, and that sums up what happened pretty well. So that's just a tough break for DeRitter getting in there. And I'm surprised, and I'm disappointed, because Bo really, like, that car just stuck out on him. I mean, that was crazy how much like momentum the car brought around and how quickly it turned on him in the middle of those corners. Definitely, that is a tough break. That is a big shame for those guys as we go single file here for the restart, I believe. But yeah, you put Bo Kerbo and Matt DeRitter at the bottom side of the field with 3 laps to go. That's a tough break.
Yeah, and maybe it's the announcer jinx. I said that Bo Kerbo was having another one of those top 10 you to death kind of nights, and it's quickly turned into what might be a drop night. I don't know what he's already dropped on the schedule, but I think it's going to be an ugly, crooked number that he's going to probably want to throw away. Meanwhile, though, Matt Schultz wasting no time, gets a great jump on Henschel, who I think may have been asleep at the wheel a little bit, or maybe that was planned so that he could get a good run down into 1 and 2. 2 laps to go in this thing, and the 24 car is giddy gone.
And they come back to the stripe here. 1 lap to go, presented by Precision Engine Service. And Matthew Schultz leads the way in. Perego, Dylan Smith, they got a nice battle back there with Cody Higbee and Gary Edwards as well. They come onto the back straightaway for the final time. But into turn numbers 3 and 4, he has yet to sit. We haven't seen him on a podium yet this season. And here at Weedsport, it's Matthew Schultz taking it at the crown for the modified racing. This is the capital. This is the place to do it. And Matthew Schultz finally breaks through. He wins his first race with the Southern Tier Elite Series tonight.
How about that? You love to see it. A great story for a guy who's had some great starting position, had track position in some of these features, and just has not been able to put together a full night and put an exclamation point on it. He does it here tonight at Weedsport, and in a convincing fashion as well. This is going to be a fun interview. This is going to be a great time to talk to the driver of the 24 car, the Liberty Rock Crushing ride. It's a pretty looking ride, unique looking ride, and man, Joe, that was earned. That was as dominant a performance as we've seen this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Flag to flag. He definitely had enough of a challenge from Cole Henschel and had to hold him off, but he did so. And the racetrack being narrow, I think, maybe helped him a little bit. But we're going to give him a few to get out of the cars, get the helmets off, maybe get a drink of water after that 50-lap show, and then we should be able to interview our top 3, Matthew Schultz, Cole Henschel, and Anthony Perego. At the end of it, Dylan Smith gets 4th, Cody Higbee 5th, 6th for Gary Edwards, 7th for Kenny Coe. That is the order of those guys from that nice little battle we were watching. And Jonathan, I think we're ready. If you'd like, I'll bring you the race winner, and we will hear from Mr. Schultz.
Yeah, we'll wait to get him up in the booth, and I believe we got him now. Matt Schultz, it's Jonathan up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Jonathan.
Congratulations, brother. That 24 car looking pretty in victory lane, and a convincing win at that. Talk to us about the drive.
Oh, yeah, it was a good run. I had my best buddy Cole Henschel there behind me. He's probably one of the best guys in here, so knew I had to be smooth and just keep it around the bottom, hit my mark. So, yeah, it was a good race. Thanks to, all my fans and sponsors out there. They're in abundance. Thanks to Anthony Roselli for putting this show on. It's a lot of fun, and I know he works hard at it. So, yep.
Talk to us a little bit about your season as well. You've had some pretty solid starting efforts, been up there at times, and just haven't quite been able to put together a podium level effort in this group. Talk to us about, what went right tonight as opposed to some of the other nights that you've been up towards the front of the field.
Yeah, just having a good heat race, getting in an invert was huge. And then the track was, wasn't as racy, I think, as some of us were expecting for up front. I'm sure it was good back in the back with guys slicing and dicing, but up front it seemed like the bottom was the place to be. So I was able just to roll around there. I'm just mostly a mid-pack driver. I just do this for fun. There's a lot of great guys in here. So everything just clicked tonight and got the win.
You got the win indeed, and you mentioned the racetrack and being bottom dominant. Now, one thing that we did notice on the broadcast before we get you out of here, you were kind of diving in the corner, and talk to us about, were you trying to purposely run maybe more of a defensive line, knowing Cole was back there and knowing that you couldn't let him kind of get the run on the bottom that he would need?
Yeah, it's super tough to run the bottom here because that wall jumps out at you sometimes. So I felt like if I could just take myself out of danger a little bit and give me a little room in between that wall, I felt like I was still just fast enough to stay out front. I think I could have been maybe a little faster if I was trying to wrap it the whole way around, but the risk to reward there I thought was a little too low. So that's why I was trying to run that diamond and just keep my momentum up and try to hold him off.
Well, it was an excellent race, an excellent performance from yourself, Matthew. Congratulations. Enjoy this one. And this one's going to definitely vault you up the standings a few spots when it's all said and done. And enjoy this one. We'll see you back at it next Sunday.
All right, Jonathan. Thanks a bunch.
There he is, Matthew Schultz, your winner from Weedsport tonight, Joe. And yeah, you know what? I think I think this one was coming. You know, I don't know if maybe necessarily a win was on the radar, but it just felt like the 24 was due for a breakout performance. And I might have even called this. I don't want to give myself a pat on the back, but I feel like I gave this guy a shout out earlier in the night.
Well, we definitely were expecting that back when he was running the Reese's car, because he was getting slowly better and better every week that we ran early in the season as well. So definitely, I would agree. And you did call your shot. I will say you called your shot on tonight about Matthew Schultz having a good run. So that was definitely a good move on your side. And maybe a little bit further of a bet, the odds were a little less in your favor compared to picking Cole Henschel for a podium, as he has been on one hell of a streak to keep getting those podiums. And we've got him in the booth now. Cole Henschel, Joe Donahue here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Cole, one spot short of the victory tonight, but your car definitely looked like it was one of the best out on the racetrack, especially with your ability to run at the end of the race when the track worked in and you could bottom feed as strongly as you did. Talk to me about what strategy you were using to try to stay down that low that long.
Yeah, you know, I am terrible here on the top. So I was telling Matt before the race that I'm just going to try and bottom feed the whole time. And it luckily worked into my favor, you know. In the beginning of the race, I was able to pick off 3 or 4 guys. Then, yeah, just, you know, staying off the throttle. And actually what helped me was in the heat race watching Isaac. Sounded like he was even off the throttle when there was bite. So I knew that I needed to get out of it even more. And that just kind of helped me get to where I needed to go.
Yeah, this is a racetrack that you need patience to be able to run. And talk to me about how, being such a narrow racing line, how do you play into the patience factor to be able to succeed with this racetrack? Because you don't have that much room to work with in the first place. So maybe it forces you to do that, or like, how do you balance between being able to go and kind of being smart about your, which side? Right foot.
Yeah, you know, with here, you got to, like you said, you got to be patient, but you also got to be able to fill gaps, especially on the bottom. When you got a good group of guys around you, you're able to fill the gaps and not have to worry too much about someone trying to chop your nose. Then once I got up there racing with Anthony and Matt Schultz is one of my best friends, so I was just happy to see him win. I didn't want to try and push too hard and jeopardize him and Anthony all finishing well, and so at the end of the day, it was a great race. Had a lot of fun. Happy for, you know, my best friend to get a win, and yeah, had a good time.
That's awesome. I'm really happy. That makes me feel good to hear that, Cole. That's definitely cool. And if there's anybody to put in front of you at the end of the race, that's not a bad pick for you either, because your main championship competitors all kind of fell back a few spots from you. So this is a good night for you in the championship. Talk about the consistency factor. You are on every single podium, and that is just getting you those points you need to take the championship at the end of these 10 races.
Yeah, you know I needed a bounce back after last week. I was just kind of driving over my head, and Lernerville bit me. I've never really been great there, but yeah, it's just trying to, you know, time trial good. So practicing, I guess, during the week, you know, just trying to figure out what the line's going to be, just so you can put yourself ahead of the curve, because you never want to try rolling from 10th, 12th, 15th in these races to try and be successful over a long period of time. So just figuring out how to time trial is way for me to go forward.
Absolutely agreed with that, especially at a racetrack like this. Cole, you come home second place. Fantastic run for you and your entire 4SL team. Who do you have to thank and shout out here on the broadcast for putting together a very, very strong run through the middle parts of this season?
Yeah, well, thank you to you guys for all you do. The broadcast is always awesome. I love going back and watching it through. Thanks to Anthony, Cody, and everybody who puts this on. Yeah, just thank you to everybody. And shout out to Matt for winning. Proud of him.
That's what I like to hear. Well, thank you, Cole, for being a part of it, and we will be sure to see what you've got in store for us at Eldora next week.
Yep, thank you.
And that is your second place driver, Cole Henschel. And we'll hand the mic over back to you, Jonathan. You've got Anthony Perego, and we'll have to see what his perspective was on the race tonight from a very good seat to watch the lead race, I should say.
It'll certainly be interesting to see what Anthony Perego thought of this one, given the experience he's got on the real world and on the virtual world here at Weedsport. Anthony, talk to us about the drive. Another solid podium effort for yourself.
Yeah, starting second there with Matty Schultz. Was hoping to get the jump, and it just didn't work. And seemed to be battling with Dylan Smith the whole entire time, and finally got cleared of him and made some gains on the leader. But track was a little bit bottom dominant, so we'll take what we have.
And talk to us, again, you got some experience at a place like this. How does this particular facility drive in the modified world? In the big block modified world on iRacing as opposed to the real cars? A lot of people talk about the differences, the similarities in iRacing and how the game does capturing it. What's it like from your perspective?
Yeah, obviously, Weedsport's probably one of the slicker tracks we go to, and you've seen that tonight here in the game. I don't think it really gets that dominant where you can't move out and pass somebody. I feel like Dylan was kind of holding up the bottom line there, and in real life, I feel like you can drive up on the top and drive around them, but just wasn't in the cards tonight. Matty Schultz was really good, and obviously Cole's good every week. So we'll just take the top three and move on to Eldora, right?
Yeah, top three is going to gain you a lot of points and maybe get you back in this title championship with just a few races left to close out the season. Who do you got to thank for another podium effort?
Yeah, just got to thank my man Larry. Ryan Reiser did the wrap on this car, so just looking forward to next week. Keep our momentum rolling, and looking to get back in the real world here in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's coming up quick on you, so enjoy that. Start prepping for that, and thanks again for running with us, and congratulations on a great effort. There he is, Anthony Perego, rounding out your podium tonight. Joe, I gotta say, I was pretty thrilled with that racing action. I thought Weedsport really delivered. I know it was bottom dominant. I know it was hard to pass, but all in all, I thought we had some fantastic racing throughout the field.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, especially when we got the racing going and we didn't have that stop and go action. We had a really nice end to this race with a long run with no yellow, and that really brought like the cream of the crop to the top and gave us some really good stuff to see, especially with that battle from like 4th place to 7th place, as we can get the final results up on the screen, talk a little bit more about those guys. So Matthew Schultz wins tonight, led every lap. He's leading all the way through it, and over Cole Henschel, who had a fantastic run tonight to get second once again on the podium. Anthony Perego, with some real-world experience playing into things, gets third. And then you get down into that group that we're talking about. Dylan Smith, 4th. Cody Higbee, 5th. Gary Edwards, 6th, and Kenny Coe, 7th. That really awesome racing between those 4 drivers for the second half of this event to kind of go argy-bargy, head into the corners, try the bottom, try the top, just move around. It was awesome. They even got the elbows out a little bit. That was fantastic racing. We also saw some really good racing between 8th and 10th place. We saw Anthony Vitale, Brendan Finley shaping things up with Matt DeRitter and Bo Kerbo. Those two unfortunately caught up in an accident. Hunter Lapp was gifted the final position in the top 10 there, but that was also a fantastic little battle between drivers. You go back to 11th place, Brian Lawson with a pretty good performance for him. Jesse Hedges in 12th. Isaac Salas never fully recovered from that accident he was in early in the race, but at least gets up to 13th again. That's not a good points night for one of the drivers in the top 5 of your championship coming in. Richard Ritchie ends up 14th tonight. Jeff Sharp 15th at the end of it. Mike Brewer, definitely I was expecting to see a little bit further up the order, especially given how the beginning of his night started. But 16th is going to be the place for car 39. Bud Molyneux ends up 17th in the 883. Then you've got Jake Henry in 18th. 19th for Mikey Horton, who went Monster Jam on us tonight. Cody Harris. I think 20th is not really a great representative of Cody Harris's night, especially what we saw in the consolation. Matt DeRitter ends up 21st. Abysmal return for him. He's not going to be thrilled to come home with 21st after being away for 3 weeks. Bo Kerbo, tough break. If you called your shot with Matthew Schultz, Jonathan, you might have given the commentator's curse to Bo Kerbo, as he ends up being the last driver across the line, and Dominic Roselli, the only driver to drop out of the race, ends up 24 laps down in 23rd. So I don't know, Jonathan. You've kind of got the yin-yang. You've called the shot on somebody to do really well tonight, and then we had the guy, unfortunately, at the end of the field that we kind of expected more out of, too.
To be fair, I feel like I've shouted out Matt Schultz for more than a few races now, hoping for that breakthrough performance, but I was right tonight. Even the broken clock is right twice. I'll take it. Tough break for though. I feel bad about Bo Kerbo. I really think that was one of the ones that it's funny. I'm still looking at the point standings. Obviously, you're going to do some work here off the air once we wrap up and get everything updated ahead of schedule for next week. And looking at tonight, Schultz came in 108 points back of the lead in 12th. A guy like Bo Kerbo was 73 points back. Well, that's pretty much going to bring those two drivers right together based on tonight's performance.
Yeah, so we'll have to add up those numbers, and we will bring that to you at the beginning of the next time to recap where the points are at going into the 8th race of this season. But yeah, that'll bring them together, and hey, maybe we'll see something interesting come out of that. The points coming down to the wire, have some good points championships to fight out as we move forward in this championship. And to move forward in this championship, 1 week's time from tonight, we will be seeing you from one of the nicest facilities, dirt racing facilities, that I have ever been to in my life. We will be in Ohio, very far west in Ohio, at the virtual Eldora Speedway for a 40-lap feature event to be that 8th race of the championship. You're going to want to come back with us on BRP TV. Make sure you check in to see if Matthew Schultz maybe can double up, or if someone's going to take that crown. Maybe we'll see if Cole Henschel can get another win. Maybe Gary Edwards gets his championship back on track. Isaac Salas goes for a 4th. Anything could happen. That's a great racetrack, and we are excited to bring it to you next time. So on behalf of everybody from the Southern Tier Elite Series, Anthony Roselli running the show over there, and all of his partners, Cacti Fabrication, HigFab Chassis, Precision Engine Service, Savage House Performance, and Vertex Graphics, alongside of the BRP TV team and Murder Graphics, MDR Designs, the Inkvine Company, Creative Turnings, 47 Technology, and the Southern Ontario Dirt Show. We want to thank you all for being a part of our broadcast tonight, spending your Sunday evening with us as we get ready for another work week tomorrow, and enjoying the ending pieces of our weekend. So, for Matt DeRitter and Jonathan Howe, aside of me from BRP TV, and Anthony Roselli on the Southern Tier Elite Series side, as well as all of our drivers, our partners, our sponsors, and everybody watching, we want to thank you all for being a continued part of this Southern Tier Elite Series season, and we'll be excited to see you on the flip side for Race 8 next time.